get on your job. Tell them haters get on your job, nigga. Motivation. Nigga, get on your job. Tell them haters get on your job, nigga. Motivation. Haters better get on your job. Tell them haters get on your job, nigga. This motivation. Sucker nigga, get on your job. If you hatin', get on your job, nigga. You can look me in my eyes, see I'm ready for whatever. Anything don't kill me, make me better. I ain't dead, nigga. You can take the fame and the cheddar and the game and the deal. I'm still a go-getter. Take my freedom for the moment, but it ain't forever. I got the spirit of a god, heart of a dope dealer. I'm a king, seen hanging with some cold killers. I ain't never backed down or ran from no nigga. I ain't sat down yet. Here I stand to gorilla, even if I'm all alone. I stand at 4 niggas, tell them jump. Dipping, they don't get no realer. 5'9" with the soul of a 6'4" nigga. I separated the fakes, paralyzed from the waist down. From the real stand-up guys of the A-town. Can't even look me in my eyes, put your face down. I'm out of jail, nigga, what you gotta say now? Niggas faking only gonna inspire. Motivation. All you hating is fuel to my fire. Motivation. Niggas plotting on the crown, salt dry. It's motivation. Hey, but I ain't slowing down, I ain't stopping. Motivation. Yeah, nigga, don't stop my show. Motivation. You ain't know I don't stop, I grow. It's motivation. Sucker niggas can't make me suffer, just make me stronger and make me tough. Me locked in a box, niggas happy to see. Put anybody on top, any rapper but T.I.P. But back to reality, G. OD still carrying me, nigga, I run this. Spread your rumors, kick all your little dumb shit. Tell lies, laugh about the time that I'm gon' get. Make you feel better, picture me over and done with. Punk bitch, come with all the gossip you can come with. Small thing to a giant, I can overcome this. Jail, I done this, rap I'm just having fun with. I could be a local joker, never had one hit. Nigga, new finish alone to get me dumb rich. Why these rappers selling records, getting pennies? If brand hustle sell any, I'ma get plenty. If God with me, who can be against me? Sucker can't make me suffer, just make me tough. Motivation. Niggas faking only gonna inspire. Motivation. All you hating is fuel to my fire. Motivation. Niggas plotting on the crown, salt dry. It's motivation. Hey, but I ain't slowing down, I ain't stopping. Motivation. Yeah, nigga, don't stop my show. Motivation. You ain't know I don't stop, I grow. It's motivation. Sucker niggas can't make me suffer, just make me stronger and make me tough. It's motivation. Gotta get on your job, tell them haters get on your job, nigga. Motivation. Nigga, get on your job, tell them haters get on your job, nigga. Motivation. Haters better get on your job, tell them haters get on your job, nigga. It's motivation. Sucker nigga, get on your job. If you hatin', get on your job, nigga. Motivation. Niggas faking only gonna inspire. Motivation. All you hating is fuel to my fire. Motivation. Niggas plotting on the crown, salt dry. It's motivation. Hey, but I ain't slowing down, I ain't stopping. Motivation. Yeah, nigga, don't stop my show. Motivation. You ain't know I don't stop, I grow. It's motivation. Sucker niggas can't make me suffer, just make me stronger and make me tough.
What's going on? Welcome to another edition of the No Bull-ish podcast. What's going on, everybody? Am I on? Can y'all hear me? Am I good? Am I good? Yes. Today we have Mr. Marcus Middleton. Mr. Marcus Middleton first started showing American Pitbull Terriers in 2015 in the registry called the CBR. Then he went to the ABKC and UKC and decided then he was just going to show in all 3 registries. You know, his first dog was Trouble, and he champed her out at his very first UKC show in Perry, Georgia in 2015. In 2017, he finished the year as top dog and finished with the first grand champion American Pitbull Terrier in ABKC history. Let me see. He was told before going to the ABKC that she wouldn't be liked, and also the grind to accomplish that goal made it even more worth it. He's owned national title dogs and also produced the national best of breed dog, and going for another one this year. So the man is very accomplished, uh, and I'm waiting for him to get back on the scene right here so I can get him on the camera. I don't want to just, matter of fact, Mr. Marcus Middleton. Hey, look at those. Look at those. Look at that background. Yeah, look at that background right there, buddy.
Back,
Yes, yes. How are you doing today, man? I am glad and I am
man.
honored to have you
Good,
on my
man.
show today, bro. Sorry everybody. Last time, he had a little minor accident, but obviously he's doing better and getting around right now, man. We are happy to have you on. Did a little brief introduction of yourself, man. Can you go ahead and tell the people a little bit about Mr. Marcus Middleton and his camp?
Can you hear me pretty well? Good, good, good. I know last time we had some hearing difficulties. Pretty much right now I'm residing in Mississippi, country south, what I like to say. Like I say, I think you pretty much did most of the introduction for me when you just spoke a second ago. Like I say, started American Pitbull Terriers and hey, stop drinking hot water. Started American Pitbull Terriers started showing in 2015. I owned my first American Pitbull Terrier when I was 9. I got my first American Pitbull Terrier puppy when I was 9 years old, and I've had American Pitbull Terriers ever since then. Started showing 2015. Really started to get into it, started campaigning around, I started campaigning 2017. And from there, man, I've been rolling since. I've taken a break here and there, but been rolling since, man.
So have you ever shown bred American bullies at all?
Never.
Only pit bull terriers?
Only Pitbull Terriers.
How
Hey, quick thing real quick. Your volume is low on your end.
Hold on. How about this? You can hear me now?
A little better.
Is this better right here?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Check. Cool. Maybe because is this good?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm spilling water on myself. All right, so how were you when you first got your first American Pitbull Terrier?
How old was I?
Yes, sir. And who influenced you to actually get into that breed?
So I got my first American Pitbull Terrier when I was 9. My uncle actually introduced me to American Pitbull Terriers because I always had dogs, mutts, German Shepherds, had a Rottweiler. But my uncle actually introduced me to the American Pitbull Terrier. Now, was it the show quality American Pitbull Terriers, the UKC? No. Straight ADBA game dogs. But the older I got, I realized that those style of dogs just didn't fit my lifestyle. I like them a little bit too much dog for me right now because the older I got and what I'm into now. So I prefer the UKC style American Pitbull Terriers.
So when you say the UKC style of American Pitbull Terriers, do you mean the breed basically was kind of mellowed out a little bit through selective breeding to get a certain temperament?
Yes. So pretty much you have, and a lot of people don't like to admit it, and I kind of understand, but you have two different styles of the American Pitbull Terrier. You have the ADBA style, which is the game dogs. Then you have the UKC style, which is more of the showy style, the ones that you see that pretty much people think they're AM staffs, or they call them pitter staffs, the ones that are heavily influenced by the AM staffs. But what people don't know is that once you can have an AM staff, because in the UKC, the AM staff is considered an American Pitbull Terrier. So once you cross that AM staff out with the UKC American Pitbull Terrier or an ABKC American Pitbull Terrier, at that point that dog becomes American Pitbull Terrier and no longer is a American Staffordshire Terrier.
Wow. Again, break that down again. Sorry, break that down again.
So in the UKC, the AKC American Staffordshire Terrier is considered an American Pitbull Terrier. Once you take that AKC American Staffordshire Terrier and cross it with the UKC American Pitbull Terrier or the ABKC American Pitbull Terrier, at that point, that offspring becomes an American Pitbull Terrier because it's no longer qualified to be able to be shown or registered as an AM staff. Even if the sire or the dam is an AM staff, if it's crossed with an American Pitbull Terrier, it becomes an American Pitbull Terrier.
So this is law.
Yeah.
Wow. So have you bred direct to AM staff to get the desire that you wanted through your yard? No.
Nope.
You just kept it a buck with what you had.
Yep. Now Ruger that I have, he's exactly what I'm explaining now. He's an American Pitbull Terrier. He can't be registered as an AM staff, but he is heavily influenced by the AM staff. Meaning once you get to his third generation of his pedigree, you see a lot of AM staffs, top and bottom. But because some of those dogs was bred to American Pitbull Terriers, at that point, they become American Pitbull Terriers. Now, the people who have the ADBA game style dogs, they call them pitter staffs. They don't want to consider them as American Pitbull Terriers. My argument with that is that, okay, you can feel how you want to feel about them, but it's the same as saying, oh, to me, it's the same as you saying, I have a pocket bully or I have an XL bully. Guess what? They're still bullies. They look different, but they still American bullies. But they do different jobs.
Okay. I mean, you're shedding a lot of light on about the show American Pitbull Terrier, because I believe a lot of people are in the dark when it comes to, because most of the people are bull breeders as far as like American bullies, Frenchies, shorty bulls and stuff like that. Those are like the main dogs in the ABKC. So, you know, people get caught up in those rules of that lifestyle. And I know you hear it. Man, that's not a pit bull. That's an AM staff.
Oh yeah. I've been,
you know what I'm saying?
Nationals.
So you have cleared up so much. You've cleared up so much, right? Just in this little bit of time. How long we had? 14 minutes. You dropped some jewels already for us to have a better understanding of what we're looking at in the show ring.
Yeah.
And man, we really appreciate that. So somebody on here, but you know, I want to get to the questions later, but somebody on here said, is your uncle Ahmad Middleton?
Nah, I never heard of Ahmad. Don't know who that is.
There's a lot of Middletons in the United States of America. I'm pretty sure of it. Sounds like a common last name.
Nope.
But all right, so let's get back to it. So how many title dogs have you produced for the American Pitbull Terrier? Yes, sir.
1, 2, 4. 4 at this point.
Okay, 4.
I own to myself. I produced 4.
So you actually shown your production and titled them?
No, I haven't. So I have Sire Down that I've shown, got titles on, and the other ones, the people who own them, like Cullen, the one that Morgan has, the twin to the sire. Nikki Lynn has the female. I owned another one that Morgan showed for me, and then I have another one out in, where's that? Knoxville. He's titled in Wakepool.
In Tennessee.
Yeah. He's titled in Wakepool. But But you have to think though, I've only produced one litter.
Really?
That's it. I've only produced one litter. I didn't breed Trouble until she was a little bit over 7 years old.
Yo, man, that is amazing.
Yeah,
That is an amazing feat to have. I mean, you've had one litter and you have four title dogs from that litter.
5 puppies.
Jesus Christ.
It was only 5 in that litter.
That is amazing, man. That is amazing. So somebody said all those dogs are litter mates. Yes, all of those dogs are litter mates.
Yes, all litter mates.
Wow. So that has to be some kind of history right there.
But it boils down to not rushing the process. See, the thing is, what I noticed a lot and when I say bully community, I mean American Pitbull Terrier, Frenchie, Oldie, American Bully. A lot what I see is that so many people are in a rush to like be somebody before their time. So what they're doing is they rushing the process instead of trusting the process. They don't want to be patient. So, you know, people have those, a lot of people get dogs and think, oh, well, my dog has American Bully on his paperwork, or my dog has French Bulldog on his paperwork. I'm finna breed this dog. Not realizing what it takes to get to a certain point, what it takes to get to a certain level. It's not just sticking 2 dogs together and then all of a sudden the next day you're somebody. Because if you look at 80, maybe 85% of the successful dudes or women in the dog community, if you look at those people, they didn't just bust out one day and was successful. Look back at photos of these guys, these successful guys or successful women. Look at photos from them like 6, 7 years ago. A lot of them wasn't handling, wasn't owning, wasn't breeding the same caliber of dogs that they have now. But they understood what they understood the assignment basically. They trusted the process rather than rushing out there wanting to be somebody. Now you do have maybe 10% of people who started out with a good dog and they still on the road with that. You know what I'm saying? But it's very few people out there that get a dog and then all of a sudden they're somebody. Everybody want to be somebody before their time. Everybody want to have that major following. Everybody want to be liked. Everybody want to be part of this group, part of this entourage. Everybody want to be that. But don't nobody want to take the time and take the patience to understand what it takes to get to a certain point. Like I started 2015. I only produced one litter, but I can't count how many titles, the ones I own and the ones I produce, I can't count how many titles they have. But instead of me deciding to say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna breed this bitch every year, or I'm gonna stud him out every time somebody calls me about him. No. I'll be honest and say I'm stingy as hell with my male. I'm stingy with him. Because we all know, you're a stud owner. We all know once we start studying those dogs out, if the litter don't turn out, who the blame gonna get put on? The stud.
Right.
Nobody's gonna say anything about the mother of the puppies. Nobody's gonna blame her. All the blame's gonna go on the stud. So when I have people who call me, Facebook me, or whatever, and say, hey, I want to use Ruger. The first thing I do is say, hey, send me the pet, send me the picture, send me videos, what the dog look like. If I look at this dog and don't see that this dog can benefit my program just as much as Ruger can possibly benefit their program, it's a no. And I don't feel bad about it. Because at the end of the day, my name is on that dog. My name is going to be on what he's studied out to. It's not going to be, oh, well, the bitch this, the bitch that. No, it's going to be, oh, well, that's a Ruger daughter. That's a Ruger son. He can't produce his garbage. So if I don't see that a dog can benefit my program just as well as, vice versa, I'll turn it down a heartbeat.
Y'all, please share this video. Please like it on YouTube. Not on Facebook. It's better if you do it on YouTube. It benefits this channel a little bit better if you share this video and like it on YouTube, please. I would appreciate it. We're here just to spread knowledge. I know everybody on here just learned a bunch of stuff just now, just within this 20 minutes, man. You just learned, got a lot of jewels just by listening to Mr. Marcus Middleton on the knowledge that he's just spitting. So please, man, we're trying to get this out to everybody. So please share and like this and like the video, even on Facebook. So Nationals 2019. I was there. I know you was. I know you was sick too when you had to say. I know you was. I know you. I know you. I know you was sick. But Morgan is probably, I would say, because you got some good handlers in the ABKC. You got Viviana, you got Hannah, you got, I don't want to just, if I'm leaving anybody out, I apologize. But for me, I think Morgan is the top, right?
Yeah.
Because I seen Hannah do it too, but Morgan is more like, she's more hands-on with those dogs. I seen a dog get out of line that somebody wanted them to handle, and she put that dog in place, and the dog looked confused, like what? You know what I'm saying? And she has that touch. She has that it factor. She just has it. And when I seen her handling your dog in at Nationals 2019, I said, yo, whoever dog that is right there, is taking it all right. And you did, and it did.
Yeah.
But when I seen the best of show, you was on video watching it?
I was watching on live.
Let's explain that. Explain what you was going through, all of the emotions. Explain that.
Well,
explain before best in show. You had to go through a certain channel in order to get to that position. Please.
So I'll be honest and say my whole objective of sending him to Nationals was winning the National Best of Breed. It wasn't never a best in show. And the reason why it was never a best in show in my mind is because of, let's be real. I flat out say it. The American Pitbull Terrier is pretty much last of a dying breed. So, and they don't get really a lot of credit, I should say that. So my only focus was winning that National Best of Breed. Well, once he took National Best of Breed, I was more like, okay, goal accomplished. He done what I wanted him to do. You know what I'm saying? So more and more, I'm watching it. I'm watching live. I skipped a lot of it because it was just some stuff I just didn't really care to see. Mm-hmm. So once they got to Best in Show, I'm watching Best in Show. I'm watching Best in Show, and I want to say whenever they walked the reserve ribbon over to Samson, whenever they walked the reserve ribbon over to Samson, I was sitting there looking like, damn, the bullet didn't take it. Who gonna take this? And so I'm sitting there looking, and I'm like, well, damn, Morgan got Rugon Point in there. So I'm looking at all the other dogs, and I'm like, nothing against the other dogs, but a lot of them dogs look like they didn't want to be there. It was just like, I'm just here. But when I looked at Rug, I was like, this dog, he want to be there. Like, and she's working him the whole time. And I'm looking at a lot of other people, and they're relaxed. But the whole time she's working this dog. So I'm looking at it. So they hand the reserve ribbon over to Samson. And by that time, I started getting phone calls. So I'm clicking my phone. I'm declining calls. I'm trying to get back into Facebook to get back on, because I was watching Spielberg Live. So I'm trying to get back on the Spielberg Live. And at that point, I'm getting more. By the time I get back on live, I get another phone call. So I declined that call. I'm like, shit, well, who took National? Did the Shorty Bull win it? Did the Frenchie win it? Like, who took National? Well, I want to say the third or fourth call I got, it was Bobby. So I'm like, okay, this my boy Bobby. Let me answer the phone. So I answered the phone, and Bobby was like, man, I told you Ruben was gonna take it. I was like, what? And he was like, I ain't gonna tell you what he called me, but he was like, man, we was just one nationals. It was like, man, we was just one nationals. I was like, nah, man, nah. So by that time, I'm starting getting more calls, more, more Facebook messages. And then I get off the phone with Bobby and I get on Facebook, and then people was just like writing on my wall, like, congratulations. And I was like in shock. I had to like sit down. I got butterflies. I would just put it this way. It was so much to where, and it's gonna be crazy for me to say this, it was so overwhelming to where I don't want to win another national anytime soon. I don't. It was too overwhelming. Between all the calls, the texts, the congratulations, the Facebook message, the friend requests. I had people from like other countries, because at that time my puppies were only 3-4 weeks old. And I had been posting them on Facebook. So I was getting like tons of messages, like people sending me like screenshots of the puppies. How much is this? How much is this puppy? I give you X amount of money for this puppy. I give you X amount of money for this puppy. I give you X amount of money. So I'm constantly getting out. And it was just like overwhelmed. I want to say from the time he won nationals to like 2 days after that, I had about 1,800 new friend requests. It was crazy.
And you're not that type of dude. You're not that flashy type of guy. You're more of a laid back person.
Yeah.
You'll definitely tell it. If somebody comes and listen, if you ask Mr. Middleton about your dog, just be prepared to get the truth, man, because he's not going to hold anything back.
You're going to get the truth.
Definitely going to tell you the truth about your dog. Okay, so after nationals, 2019, COVID hit. We had this little dead space within the show. You were showing here and there when you could within 2020. What are you doing now for the beginning, before we get into your life of what you actually do with dogs, and more for your personal life with what is your plans for 2022 for the American Pitbull Terrier? Because it's your world.
For me, 2022 right now, my whole focus is breeding. I got two bitches off Ruger that I need to get bred. I'm waiting on them to come in heat now. I got one that should be coming in heat any day now, and I got another one that's coming in heat, and she should be in heat in April. So that's my goal. A lot of me want to retire Ruger and just be done with them. But when I look at this dog, I'm like, yeah, a couple more months, you're 9 years old, but he looks phenomenal. Like, he'll be 9 in March. But when you look at him, he looks and acts like a 3-year-old dog. And it's hard to retire a dog like that, a dog that still wants to be in the ring, a dog that still wants to be active, because he actually likes being there. It excites him when he gets to shows. So, I may do a show here and there with him. Right now the plan is do a couple breedings, maybe put some more performance titles on Ruger. The confirmation stuff, not really worried about that, but more of like performance titles, like, Barn Hunt, Lure Coursing, because I've already got his weight pool champion title on him. I got that. So I may just do like performance stuff.
Somebody's asking, what's your kennel name?
Kennel name?
Carl Neely.
Magnolias.
Magnolias Kennel?
Yep.
Okay. So, all right. What do you do for work? I already know what it is, but you tell the people what you do for work.
I'm a vet tech.
So you see it basically all. How long have you been a vet tech?
Yeah. I've been doing this almost 17 years.
Ooh.
Yep.
Boy, you've been doing it as long as my son has been on this earth.
17 years, man.
So can you please tell these people on the live what you see on a daily basis, what you do not want to see, and what basically ticks you off, and what makes you happy when you see an American Pitbull Terrier? I'm gonna ask about the American Bully after, but an American Pitbull Terrier, when you see them coming into the vet, your place of business.
So what ticks me off when I see an American Pitbull Terrier?
Yes.
For the most part, it's the lack of care or the lack of training. You know, because you have to. The area that I'm in the South. I'm in the country. I'm in Mississippi. So the area I'm in, you don't have a whole lot of popular kennels. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a whole lot of popular American Bully kennels. American Pitbull Terrier kennels, unless they're game dogs. But for the most part, I think what upsets me most is the lack of care with dogs, or people just breeding just to have puppies, just to say, oh, I breed pit bulls. Because I go into the exam room and see dogs and be like, what you here for today? I want to do an ultrasound or x-ray to see if she's pregnant. So I'm looking at this dog. And I'm looking at this dude like, why would you breed this? You know, I don't ever say it because I have to have a certain level of respect. But in my mind, I'm like, why are you breeding this? Like, what's the point of breeding this? And then when the dog doesn't take or nothing shows up on the x-rays, I wonder why my dog didn't take. And the first thing I asked him, like, did you do progesterone test? What's that? That's the first question they asked. What's progesterone test? So I had to explain to him what progesterone test is. But see, all that kind of stuff there falls back into mentors. Like, all that information like that, it comes back to you having a mentor. Like, you cannot be, and I don't care who you are, you can't have a certain level of success. And I don't mean just titled dogs, because you can breed the best dogs and not ever show these dogs. But you cannot have a certain level of success with dogs without a proper mentor. And if you do, you just a lucky person. But
this is not just the American Pitbull Terrier breed. He's talking about all breeds that show. Show or breed. Show or breed.
Show or breed.
You definitely need a mentor. It's very important. That's my own
personal opinion. I don't feel like you can be successful on any level with dogs if you don't have a proper mentor. And I'm not talking about Lit Joe or Lit Rico down the street, been raising dogs for 12 years and he didn't talk to you about it. No. He probably don't know nothing either. Because I see dudes all the time that talk the same stuff. Oh man, I had, a couple years ago, I had these blue nose, I had these red nose, and at that point right there, we can't talk no more. Right. We can't talk.
So I think a lot of people, it's the lack of knowledge is very high because it's out there for you. I mean, you got the internet. This is no excuse for anybody to say they really didn't know. I understand certain things like progesterone. If you're new, that's different. But there's a lot of things that if you're getting into breeding, that progesterone should be brought up. Definitely, if you research breeding, it's going to come up. So there's really no excuse, man, because you're in the informational era right now. You have everything at right here. You just pick this thing up right here.
Exactly.
And you just type in whatever you want to know. And but a lot of people don't have common sense. That's a whole nother story, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't have common sense. And we have to be the ones like you took your time and explained what progesterone is. You remedied this man's ignorance, and that right there helps a person level up, period. It just helps them level up.
Yeah.
And they start to, if they're a hunter, they start to go after more information to sharpen the blade that you actually handed him. Because the blade you handed him, you just told him progesterone test. You handed him a dull blade. But now he has something to actually sharpen versus nothing at all, So, shout out to you for that.
And the biggest part is that I try not to be so judgmental because I remember it was one point that I didn't know what none of this stuff was. So, when I see people coming, I'm just like, yes, it's frustrating because it's just like, why, but at the same time, sometimes I had to sit back and be like, okay, maybe they just didn't know. Maybe they just don't know. But also, if you're going to be a person that's going to be considered as a dog breeder, you should have a mentor. Trouble, stop. You should have a mentor.
That's one of the number one things I harp on this platform. The number one thing that I harp on this platform, I wouldn't be nowhere where I'm at right now if it wasn't for my mentors.
Yeah.
When I actually got to know you personally, it's been maybe a couple of years now. Like I actually talked to you, I've seen you at shows, but I never actually talked to you, But when I finally talked to you, man, it was so enlightening, man. I learned so much, man. And it was just like, wow, I need to have this person in my corner to help me grow. And, you're a mentor to me. And I'm pretty sure you're a mentor to a lot of other people. And I have a lot of them. You don't just have one mentor.
No.
Don't just have one. Have a lot. Have a lot of people that have a lot of pride, a lot of has a certain code about them. Like Christopher Stazer said, the code of ethics. Everybody doesn't have ethics. Everybody does not have that, but definitely get with people, and the people who I have on my show definitely have a code of ethics. They wear that badge of honor proudly. So how do you feel about the state of the American Pitbull Terrier in the show world right now? I mean, pulling, all of it, barn, everything.
I think for the most part, we can do better. For the most part, part of the problem is that nobody wants to work with nobody. Nobody wants to work with nobody to create better dogs. Then you have people who are working together breeding mediocre dogs. They're breeding tools. With that being said, I'm sorry, you can't breed a tool to a tool and expect to get this big flashy dog. I don't see it happening. It's no way you can do that. So a lot of these people are not utilizing the dogs properly. The dogs that they have access to, they're not utilizing those dogs properly. They could be breeding dogs that I own semen on this dog, or I own this male. Since I own this male and I own this female, I'm going to breed them so I won't have to pay any stud fees. Rather than saying, I'm finna find the best thing that can go with my bitch, or I'm finna find the best thing that can go to my male. A lot of them breed these dogs because they own these dogs, rather than going outside and trying to find the best dog. Now, am I part of that problem? I'm part of that problem because I'm not going to work with everybody. I'm just not. I'm sorry to say it, I'm not going to work with people who heavily deal with people that I don't deal with. I'm just not. And I can admit that. I can admit that. That's just me. I'm not going to do that.
He spoke about that earlier, Bama Green. So let's harp on it one more time. You'll see it on your screen. You should see it on your screen, Mark. It says, we spoke on it already, but he said, speak on the AM staff being registered as American Pitbull Terriers and ABKC. I guess you have to explain the rule again to him that we did in the beginning.
Can he speak on the AM staff being shown as American Pitbull Terrier?
In the ABKC. Remember the rule, rule.
Okay, so while that's fresh, I'll go ahead and speak on that subject while it's fresh. So what we have in the ABKC, we have an American Pitbull Terrier class, we have an AM staff class, and I bitch about it all the time. Pretty much 98% of the AM staffs show in the American Pitbull Terrier class. When I have spoken with people about this, the first thing they say is, well, if we don't show in the American Pitbull Terrier class, we won't have competition. Now, I know a lot of people may be thinking, well, how do they register these AM staffs as American Pitbull Terriers when they have an AM staff class? where it's just this simple, just like I explained earlier. Once you go to UK, once you take that AKC AM staff to UKC, your dog at that point becomes a UKC American Pitbull Terrier. You can walk that AM staff right in with UKC American Pitbull Terrier paperwork, registered as American Pitbull Terrier in ABKC. That's how they do it, right there. Just that simple. Instead of them saying, okay, I know my dog's an AM staff, I'm gonna register my dog as an AM staff in the ABKC. So that's the reason why we have AM staffs in the American Pitbull Terrier class. Now, one lady that shows in the ABKC with AM staff, she just switched her AM staffs over to AM staffs in ABKC because she was showing her AM staffs as American Pitbull Terriers, but she just switched them over. So hopefully now, if people see her start to do that, hopefully those people who own AM staff will, follow suit and put those dogs in the correct class. Now, I get slack all the time because people are like, oh, well, Ruger's an AM staff. No, he's not. He just looked like one. He's heavily influenced by the AM staff, but he can't be registered as an AKC AM staff. I can't take this dog to the AKC office and register this dog to show him. I just can't, even though he's heavily influenced by the AM staff. I just can't do it. I wish I could. I wish I could walk him right into the AKC ring. I'll be all in the AKC ring with him, but I can't. I can't do it. That'll just be another registry for me to show in, but I can't do it.
Right, and the takeover begins, basically.
Yeah, just a simple. I'm too competitive, man. I can't help it.
And that's what I like. That's what I really like about you, man. You're competitive, but you don't let it get in the way of your honor. You know what I'm saying? You keep it honorable at the same time, and you keep it a buck. And that's rare. And I found myself getting out of line during certain arguments, and I just have to learn a lot to be a little bit more humble, when it comes, y'all on YouTube, y'all don't know how I get it in on Facebook, boy. I get it in.
Well, this is my thing, that I don't care enough about people's opinions for me to get bent out of shape about what they think or what they say or how they feel. Mm-hmm. And I say this, and I'm gonna do this very humbly. If I can continue to do this right here, what's behind me, if I can continue to do that, then what they're saying or how they feel about what I'm doing, it don't matter to me at all. I can care less if they feel a certain way, if they say a certain thing. I don't care. It doesn't bother me because I didn't get into dogs. I didn't get into this dog stuff to say, I wonder how many friends I can make. I wonder how many people I can be cool with. I wonder how many people I can be buddy with. I didn't get into dogs for this. Now, on the other hand, if I see somebody to show, if I recognize you, we're going to talk.
Definitely going to chop it up.
We're going to do that. But I didn't get into these dogs to figure out who I can be best friends with. I didn't do that. So when people say this and say that, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'm not going to argue with you. I don't care.
Right. So somebody asked, how do you feel about the American Bully as a whole?
The American Bully?
Yeah.
The direction of the American Bully.
You don't have American Bullies. He doesn't own American Bullies. He owns American Pitbull Terriers, but his opinion is valued. So yes, definitely, we want to know what you.
How do I feel personally about the American Bully?
Yes, sir.
I feel like the right people are doing the right things with the dogs. What messes up the American Bully as a whole, and I'm gonna say this bluntly, it's stuff we seen last week. The perfuckery that we seen, the stack off. I'm gonna just say it. That is stuff like that. Like everybody who's involved in that need to get out of American Bullies. The people who own the dogs, the cameramen, the people who were stacking them, they need to leave it alone.
I don't think they was portraying as American Bullies, but I think the issue is Bashar has a certain level of certain echelon, I guess, when you talk about the dogs that are actually representing
Hmm.
conformational shows in the ABKC, and how many people bought into his program that are showing, that have produced a long line of muscle tone show dogs, whether it's the
Hmm.
cheap way or whether they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to get
Hmm.
into it to do it, right? It doesn't matter. What we're speaking on is the blatant disrespect and the grandstanding. That's what it actually is, by
Hmm.
one person, when the American bully or no breed should be grandstanded by one person. This breed is together as a whole. Even though
Hmm.
one dog wins nationals, guess what? There's somebody that likes another dog way better than the dog that won nationals.
Yep.
So this shit goes round in a circle, and not one person should have any kind of control over it and should be grandstanding. Go ahead, let's drop how you feel, man, because I definitely know we're gonna get it here from you. Go ahead.
But yeah, but like I said, you have people in the with the American bully breeds who are doing right by the dogs, who are breeding to the standard, who are producing nice quality dogs, who are pet homing dogs that don't have any business being in the show ring, who are using tools the way that they should use tools and not have them in a show ring. So I think for the most part, the American bully itself, it's in a good direction, because you look at the last, we'll just say the last three. We're not gonna go to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're looking at the last three national winners. Blue. And you look at Bear. You look at the Buzz. Then 9 times out of 10 is probably gonna be 0 this year. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at all these dogs, the national winner dogs, or the top or the number one dogs, if you look at those dogs, everybody should be trying to figure out, how can we get to that? Because obviously that's what's popping. You know, it doesn't have to be fawn like those dogs. It can be blue. It can be blue tri. But people need to figure out, how can I get my confirmation to that standing right there? What can I do? What dogs can I use? Who can I breed to? How can I sit down with somebody and be able to figure out how to get that? So for the most part, the American bully, besides the dumb crap that goes on from people, it's in a good place. I feel like it's in a good place, because I can name a list of dogs that I'm like, even though the American bully is not my breed, but I can name a list of American bullies that I look at and I'm like, you know what? If I was into this breed, I would own that one. 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 So you have people out here who's doing right by the breed. It's just when something negative happens, everybody, even whether it's in the bully community or outside of the American bully community, that frowns upon on it. So anytime something negative happened with the American bullies, of course, you're going to get the AKC people who feel a certain way. You're going to get the UKC people who feel a certain way about it. You're even going to get the ABKC people who feel a certain way about some of the negative stuff that happens. I think if the negative stuff can start to weed out more and more year by year, I think the breed is going to be a much better breed than what it is. And when I say much better breed, I'm not just speaking on conformation of the breed. I mean overall. I mean respected. I don't just mean just what the dog look like. I mean comes with respect. Because outside of the bully community, I mean, we all know the breed is not the most respected breed ever. And it's not because people don't like the dogs. People don't like what comes with the dog. Because I know a lot of people in the AKC or the UKC that likes the look of that breed. But what they don't like is what comes with it. It's kind of like back in the day when you see pit bulls in videos look like they trying to fight each other, and then you got all these rappers and stuff like that. It's not that people hate the American Pitbull Terrier. They just hate the image that was surrounded with the American Pitbull Terrier. And it's the same thing with the American Bully. People hate what is surrounded with the American Bully. And I'm not saying like people like you is giving the American Bully bad image, or not like Tone giving the American Bully bad image, but you have people out there, and I'm just saying people in general, not individual people, but you have people out there who are giving giving these dogs a bad image. And a lot of it, and I will say this because I work in vet med, a lot of it comes from the exotics. And the reason why I say they come from exotics, because when we have these little 3-inch tall exotics come in, most of the people don't know that's an exotic. First thing people say, oh, what are they doing to these bullies? What are they doing to these American bullies? So it's a lot of it has to do with the exotics. The exotics is giving the American Bully a worse name than what it is, because a lot of people don't know the difference from an exotic versus an American Bully. Me and you know, because we in that world, but people who are not in that world, they don't know the difference. They'll see an exotic and say, oh, what are they doing to this American Bully? I say it all the time. And since I'm in the dog world, I have to correct my coworkers. I had to correct the staff and say, no, this is not an American Bully. This is an exotic. And then I have to go through the whole form of what's the difference. They kind of look the same. No, they don't. Then I have to pull my phone out. Well, this is American Bully. This is an exotic. Now you see the difference. So a lot of it, to the uneducated people, the exotics also have a lot to do with the negative outlook that the American Bully gets.
Yes, so definitely that definitely is some truth. Like I said with the interview I had with Tony Gold, there is a movement within the exotic bully community to breed healthier dogs, to breed more uh, more dogs that can move, like I said, the BRC, they can move around the ring now because they actually have to show them. So this is starting a wave of people that's going to look at their dog's anatomy and say, that's not going to work if I'm going to do this, because over time, yeah, and sometimes it's going to take trial and error, for them to understand this, and but a lot of the people in the exotic community that are showing that is a different world from the people who want the freakier dogs who we actually are talking about. So now it's basically they're basically separating themselves, like the American bully community that you're talking about, and the people outside of the American bully community that's making the American bully look bad, not the exotic community, because there are people that are doing things with the American bully that's not desirable. I look at and I'm like, man, come on, So like that, like somebody said, that stack off set us back publicly.
Yes, it did.
Outside of the world. And I was saying that when it happened, and the only reason why I spoke on it was because what I said earlier, Bashar was talking down on show dogs, when that's where most of your business came from. Most of the people that that used your blood or used your yard they're showing dogs. You have a lot of titled muscle toned dogs that are in the ABKC, UKC, and other registries that show the American bully. So some really good dogs come look at Demon Boy, you know what I'm saying? Look at World Star, that those dogs come from that blood, with amongst a lot of other dogs that come from that blood that you're basically shitting on and disrespecting. So that's just how I feel about that. That's
I agree.
So let's speak on the advice that you the advice that you give people. How many people have you mentored along with the American Pitbull Terrier over your years and the showing in the UKC and the ABKC? Because you have a presence about yourself with your dogs that'll make even, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, that people who have been showing longer than you would ask you, how long have you been doing? Like, you really shock people for how long you've been doing this with just your presence and how you train your dog. It's just your knowledge of it. Can you talk about that?
I was crazy that I actually don't get that question a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I actually don't, man, to be honest. I probably say one of the only times I can remember people just being like, man, did you produce that? Did you do this? Did you do that? I went to UKC Pitbull Nationals last October, and I took Morgan's boy to do the breeder handler class. So I'm in a breeder handler class with people who've been breeding 15, 20, 25 years. And I ended up winning that class at Nationals with him. At that moment, I was so disappointed in Ruger because Ruger acted a straight clown down there. I don't know what was going on with him. It was some in the bleachers caught his attention, and he just wanted to get into the bleachers to get something. So it didn't really hit me on that accomplishment until I was like driving home. On my way home, I'm sitting there like, man, I just won breeder handling class at Pitbull Nationals against people who've been breeding 15, 20 years. And once it hit me, I was like, damn, another accomplishment.
So outside of Nationals, ABKC Nationals, because if correct me if I'm wrong, is that your proudest moment?
No.
ABKC Nationals? Well, what is your proudest moment?
My proudest moment would have to be when I took Trouble and top dogged her. That's my proudest moment.
In the ABKC?
In the ABKC.
Okay.
That was 2017. That was my proudest moment. Because it was a dog that I took from 0 to 100. It was my first show dog ever. I had to close that out real quick.
That's all good. Do what you got.
It was actually my first show dog ever. She was actually the dog that I mentioned to you that I had people tell me that they won't like your dog in ABKC.
Right.
So it's already like people, it was like already like a jab, like you can't do it. Like it can't be done by you. So all they did is maybe be more competitive because when I'm in the ring, I'm competitive. Yeah, so that probably is my proudest moment.
You see, that's the competitor in you, to the point where it's like, nah, it's not Nationals. Nah, it's not winning the all Pitbull Nationals. No, it was when people doubted me and said I couldn't do something, and I went upside their head.
Yep, that's it. That's what pretty much. That was pretty much lit fire into me, and I want to say I took a 10-month break, man, from showing. Didn't go to no show. I didn't even attend a show. I didn't even go to a show to watch. I took a 10-month break, and I think I had mentioned bringing her back out. People like, leave that dog at home. She's not going to do it. She ain't got what it takes. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And I say that humbly.
Right.
I say it humbly, but okay, let's run it.
We need more. I mean, that we need more of that, especially with the American bullies, that competition, that feeling that, I think there is, I think there is that feeling, but I think it gets more personal, with these dogs, So before we end this, can you give everybody your social media feed, your Instagram? Do you have Instagram?
I do have Instagram. I'm barely active on it, but I pop up on it every once in a while. It's Marcus_Middleton01.
Yeah, you need to get that, man. You need to get that Instagram popping, because you can have so many, you can reach so many people on that platform. It's crazy.
Mhm.
I think Facebook kind of limits you to doing that, while
Yeah,
Instagram gives you a larger platform to uh, get what you're doing across to the whole world, man. I think you might be sleeping on Instagram, man. I think the world needs to
I've
know
been
your
told that.
dogs and what you're doing. And then whoever told you that was a very intelligent person.
Yeah, I've been told that before to get on Instagram, be
Right.
more active on Instagram.
So I navigate both. So I think, man, you owe the world this, man, because you have, in such a short time, you have so much accomplishments, and with just one breeding. One. Let's not forget this. This man has accomplished so much with just one breeding. This is crazy. I didn't even
And
know
you
that.
know what's fun is that still to this point, I don't feel accomplished yet. I don't like I has the success been there? Yes. Do I feel accomplished? No, I don't.
Why
I,
why 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 don't you feel accomplished? What I mean, I understand you're young in your career. I feel like you probably need to produce more and have more of a legacy to drop
yes.
down. That's definitely important for
That's
all
why I don't
breeders.
feel accomplished. I won't
Mhm.
feel accomplished until I do my second generation of titled dogs.
Mm.
Once I get to my second generation of proven titled dogs, then and at that moment, and then I can say, okay, I feel accomplished now, because that's an ultimate goal for me, is to be able to take a second generation and title it. And when I say title a second generation, I mean titling at least 50% or more of the litter. Because we all know every puppy out of a litter is not going to be a show dog.
Right. All right. So, like, nah, we ain't gonna get up out of here right now. Check this out. I got a question for you guys. This is gonna be a little. So, when you said breeding, what is your science of looking for a stud and um picking a bitch out of a litter, or picking a male out of your litter? What is your science first on breeding and then picking the dog out of the litter?
First thing I look for in a dog is temperament. First and foremost, temperament. I got to have temperament. Secondly, I have to look at a pedigree and say to myself, okay, does this pedigree line up with this dog? What does the second generation look like in this pedigree? What does I may look at a certain dog in that pedigree and be like, okay, I wonder, did this dog have any offsprings? If so, let me see, can I find any pictures of the offsprings? Let me see, can I find any pictures of the siblings? I might look at another dog and do the same thing to see, and what I look for there, to see consistency. Because if I can look at certain dogs in the pedigree and pretty much say, okay, this is consistency, I'm gonna go to the next dog and say, okay, is this dog producing consistent? Is it consistent? What does the offspring look like? What does the siblings look like? Is it consistent? And so forth. And I want to stay within the lines, because a lot of the consistent looks comes from the lines. So I try to stay within the same lines of the dogs, to the point to where it's not too close, but at the same time, I want to be able to say, okay, I can do a little line breeding here. I can do this, I can do this, and then I can do my outcross. But for the most part, so I will say this: whenever I did trouble in Ruger breeding, I studied those pets 4 years before even breeding them. That's what took me so long to breed her. I didn't breed her till she was 7.5 years old. But I had to make sure what I was looking at was going to give me exactly what I was expecting to get. Now, what I was looking for in that breeding lines, I was looking for, okay, Trouble has an excellent top line. I need to keep this top line. Trouble has an excellent rear. I need to keep this rear end angulation. but I wanted the substance and the front end of Ruger. I wanted his shoulder assembly. So I looked at that stuff. But the puzzle, I knew the puzzle ain't complete right there, because the females I got now, I'm taking them to some dogs that's going to be line bred off the same stuff that Ruger is. So I'm more and more completing my puzzle. And see, a lot of people just, they think one step and that's it. I looked at a whole nother picture when I was doing this breeding. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this breeding, but I know once I get these bitches, I'm going to find this line and take these bitches to this line. I'm going to do, this is what I'm gonna do next. So I already knew what I was gonna do when I did the initial breed. I already knew what my second generation plan was when I did my first generation. So I planned it out.
Right. That's a lot of work that a lot of people will hurt a lot of people's heads.
Oh yeah.
So they don't even do it. So they just go. I think that messes up a lot of people's it sets people back, and they think they're moving forward when they have a bitch and they know the pedigree, but they disregard all of that to breed to a dog that they see is at the top. That's a hype dog. Shots Fired is a hype dog, right? So they want to breed the Shots Fired, but their dogs, it's basically like a scattered breeding that you're doing. You're setting yourself back if you're not trying to get to Shots Fired the correct way. There's a correct way to try to get to Shots Fired. If you're already doing a line breeding, and that's an outcross. So you have to lay your foundation with your outcross first before you can breed to Shots Fired. So that's where you're going to get your gorilla. You know, that's where you're going to get your nice dog from. Usually it's from that outcross. And we spoke about that before.
Well, people, and it goes back to what we said earlier. People rushing the process. That's it. People rushing the process. People are wanting to be somebody too quick. They want to be known too quick. Instead of them studying and trusting the process, they want to be somebody too quick. They want to be somebody before their time. And it takes patience to get there. You're not going to be a overnight success. You may have, like I said, you may have 10% of the people in the dog community that started out with great dogs, and they continuing to do stuff with great dogs, with the great dogs. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, 90% of the people, you got to crawl before you walk.
My experience in the ABKC, I hit the ground running. And the reason why I hit the ground running, I had a good dog. That's number one. Number two is that everything that was explained to me, I acted upon it. I trained day, night, breathed it. Everything that was about these dogs, I actually did what I had.
Did you have a mentor?
What?
Case closed.
Did I have? Man, I had
case closed.
Tone Rodan like shattered the record in 2016, I think it was. It was for a handler. I think it was 12 dogs that was champed out by a handler in 1 year was the record, and he champed out like 66 in 1 year. So I was blessed to have Tone as a mentor, not just a mentor, as a brother, because I've known Tone ever since 1998.
Yeah.
You know, so he was emotionally, and Marco.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Marco. People say Tone, but they sleep on Marco Garcia. You know, and he's like one of the top handlers for the American Bully, French Bulldog, all that stuff out there too. It's right behind. But Tone has that charisma about himself. He has that it factor, you know.
But you see the difference though. You hit the ground running because you had a great mentor, versus trying to jump out there on your own and saying, "Oh, I'm finna buy some American Bullies. I'm finna breed these dogs just because they got American Bully on the paperwork," and think that you finna be successful.
Facts.
No,
that has to feel lonely. Like, honestly, man, I mean, I don't believe anybody wants to go on like that.
No.
You know, I don't believe anybody wants to go on like that, even if you're leaving from the pit bull terrier coming to the American bully. You know, I've helped a lot of people that's made that transition to the, you know, because they didn't actually know what they were doing. They
Hmm.
felt lost. They were by themselves. So I was there to be like, listen, you're not by yourself. I'm here with you. All the knowledge that I got, I'm gonna give to you. I do this to every single person that I talk to. Because why? I want the American bully to be great. I want to see that person best of breed, best of show. I want to see it, you know, that
Hmm.
my knowledge helped them, you know, go forward. Just like Tony Gold,
Hmm.
you know, was saying, just like a lot of my mentors say, give this, pass this forward, man. Give this knowledge that I'm giving you.
Hmm.
Make sure I have some I have some mentors that be like, don't tell nobody this,
Oh yeah.
you know, and you know, and I've honored it. You know, I've honored a few things. There's things that I won't tell people because I just feel like, you know, but they ain't ready for it.
Yeah.
You know, if I give them this knowledge, it might throw them off, you know. So no, I'm not gonna give them everything.
Certain type of knowledge can make people move too fast also. And if you give them certain knowledge, they move too fast, guess what? Train wreck. Because you tried to skip a step. So it can be sometimes more harmful than helpful by giving them certain information.
Right, just a little bit of information can
Hmm.
help somebody climb a mountain. And
Hmm.
sometimes that's what I was given.
Hmm.
That's what I was given. I wasn't given the full game. I was it class was in session when I was learning. You know, I'd have Marco and Tone tell me I'd forget something they told me, and they'd say, "Oh, it's about this. Go look it up."
They
Now
doing right.
I done lost all of what he's told me because I wasn't paying attention. And guess what? That taught me a lesson that, you know what? I'm listening.
Yep.
What you say now? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I don't, you know, so the lesson was learned. You know, I
Hmm.
understood the assignment. You know, I wasn't gonna I remember one time uh Mike Ruiz. This is when they was on that crazy run with the bear, but
Hmm.
this is I think this is the year they didn't win it in nationals. The bus won it. And
Hmm.
he was saying something to, I think it was Anthony that was standing there. I can't remember who was standing there, but he said something about the show ring and it was knowledge. And I said, "What did you say?" He
Hmm.
said, "Oh, I said do two cartwheels and a backflip." I was like, "Nah, that's not what he said." I said, "That ain't what you said." He said, "Yeah, you should have been listening." So these are the people that I learned from, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These are the lessons that I learned, you know, and people think, "Oh, you know, you got this success." Nah, man, I had to learn, study. Have I fell off a little bit? Yeah, success can cause you to be fat and complacent,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? So I've definitely getting back on my grind and on my hustle, but um I I love what I do, man. I love showing people like you has helped me a lot, man, to understand it's more than what you just see right here. You have to
Yeah.
look here, 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 and here.
Yep. It's you got to look at the big picture. That's what I always say. You got to look at the big picture. Because, like I say, if I didn't look at the big picture, I wouldn't know what direction I would be going in right now. I just wouldn't. But
Right.
instead of me just saying, "Oh, this I'm doing this," and I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out once I get there. No, it's already in my mind what's going to happen when I get there. And then once I get to that step, I'm gonna know from there where I'm going from there. So it's gonna continue over and over.
Right,
So
because you start you have no interest in going backwards.
no, going backwards for what? I can't go backwards. I can't
That's
go.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is like uh we set ourselves up for either success or failure by our actions
Yes.
outside of being watched, outside of Facebook, outside of the show ring. We It's like you're not going to sleep after this.
No.
You know, you got dogs to take care of. You got things
Hey,
you got to
I'm working
do.
these dogs, man. Soon I get off this doggone phone.
With that being said, Can you give everybody a Facebook information? Can you give everybody a Instagram information again? Because I know we got a couple of new people in
Okay.
here. Yep.
Instagram is Marcus_Middleton 01.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, Marcus Middleton.
Oh, Marcus Middleton definitely is.
Yeah.
Just like that. Closing statements. What do you have? There's 30 people on here, right? All of us are American Bully or Pit Bull enthusiast or whatever breed that we're into. Do you have words of wisdom for the people that's watching today?
I would definitely say, and y'all may have heard me repeat it over and over, don't rush the process, trust the process. That's my closing remark right there.
Damn, you didn't even let me. I gave you this closing floor. You have the solo layout and everything, and you just gave a one-liner.
That's all. That's it. It's nothing that need to be more major than that.
Trust the process, man.
Yeah, don't rush the process.
Don't rush the process. Don't rush the process. Trust the process.
Yes.
And that's words of wisdom from Mr. Marcus Middleton. We'd like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. You came right from work and hopped on here, man. Mad respect to you for that, man. We appreciate the time that you took to drop this knowledge, man. This interview was banging, man. And you dropped a lot of knowledge. You helped us understand more about the American Pitbull Terrier, the transition between Amstaff and American Pitbull Terrier within the show ring. Man, that was a lot of knowledge. If you didn't see this, go back and watch it, man. I'm going to post it up. Somebody said that's their new motto. See, you're already touching people already, man. And I'm guaranteed you're going to have people hitting you up. Mr. Marcus Middleton, hit him up on Facebook. Ask him, he will. Don't post up your dog if you don't want the truth, man. I'm letting you know that right now.
Hey, I don't give my opinion unless asked.
Don't do it if you really do not want to know the truth. I'm saying the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right. But again, we like to thank you, Mr. Marcus Middleton, man.
I appreciate you having me on, man. Once again,
we appreciate you being here. So you have a wonderful night and stay blessed, brother.
Yes, sir. You too, bro. Take it easy,
fam. Yeah, take it easy, man. Yo, we'd like to thank Mr. Marcus Middleton for coming on, man, and dropping that knowledge, man. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do for the community. I'm not trying to take over. I'm not trying to be the king of nothing. I just want to give information out, man, because this is my job. This is what I'm here to do. You know, I have the knowledge to give. I know other people that are willing to come on my platform and to share the knowledge to help all of us. The knowledge he gave me helped me. You know, there's things that I learned just today, just from what he shared with all of us, you know. So this is what I want to do. I want to continually bring people onto this platform that's going to help all of us grow as a collective group, as dog breeders in the bull breed. No matter whether it's American bullies, whether it's American Pitbull Terriers, French Bulldogs, exotic bullies, Brahma Bulls, whatever it is, there's a science to this. There's a science to get the positive results that you need and that you want. You know, so find it, talk with the people, even the people that's working and trying to create a new breed. You know, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Don't let nobody tell you can't do it. You heard Mr. Marcus Middleton. You know, somebody tells him he can't do nothing, that motivates him to go harder, you know. But y'all be easy, man. Thank you so much for coming on. Please share, like, man, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, do the same, man. Share this to your friends, people that are new to the American bullies, to whatever breed they're getting into. It can be easily related to any breed what we're speaking on. All right. So I love y'all. Y'all be easy.
More you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I'll be that more you gon' remember. remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number. If you a friend of the Moors, then you a friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold my line. Those that speak against the prophet, they speak against me. And I'm speaking about the prophet over Drew Ali, who was the first to remind you and bind you back to Morocco, the mountains, Mississippi, and Quebec. Told you you wasn't black, proved it with straight facts. You tripping off trucks, you need to be tripping off that. Now here we go again, acting like you a slave. The same people talk European how to bathe, and looking at women buying European hair. No love for self, but do the men really care? Hell no, cause they got a love for Europe. Whole generation chasing pills, weed and syrup. Yeah, they love Lil Yachty, Tucci, Gucci, Kodak, Amigos, Ross, Lucid. But when the love for the woman look like your mother, I guess they say it's all black when it's under the cover. Now cypher, I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number. All you super scholars holler, this era for the workers. You ain't building on the ground, then you worse than a twerker. You look and sound good, but that's only on the surface. Probably working for them people. Now tell me what's your purpose. Ain't worried about your homie, but know that I know every mo that rock a fast. He ain't my bro. Yeah, you know I ain't slow. I seen it all before. How they try to kill the prophet, it was all for dough. And some got it right now. Don't say that I'm not down. I'm coming for my vast estate. I want my town, my sheriff, my stores, my school, my nation. Sick and tired of the procrastination and debate. Y'all keep hating when love is the savior. You don't love yourself, so you can't love your neighbor. That's why you killing, fighting, marry out of your race. If you ain't for Moorish world, then get out of my face. Cause Chinese love China, Italians love Italy. If you used to love the Moorish world, come on and build it with me. Let's go. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law